Manchester United have signed one of Europe's most talented, promising young goalkeepers in Senne Lammens. But let's break down what makes him special and where he still needs to improve. For context, he is 23 years old. He has the same birthday as me, by the way, 2nd of July. So we can already do no wrong. He is from Belgium. He's formerly of Club Brugge. He's been shining for Royal Antwerp. And now it's time to take a big step up. So let's start with his strengths then, and then we'll get onto his weaknesses a little bit later on. In regards to shot-stopping ability, he has outstanding reflexes, great anticipation, good positioning. He's consistently saving more expected goals than the majority of keepers in the league. He made 127 saves, which was the most in the Belgian Pro League, and he averages on about 81.4% in terms of his save ratio. What I really like about this keeper as well is he's a penalty specialist. Unlike a lot of our goalkeepers that we've had in the last decade, he is really, really good on the penalty spot. He saved 5 out of 7 penalties since last season. No keeper in Europe's top 10 leagues has more in that time. That is super impressive, which again would also suggest in that specific scenario, he has that kind of big game temperament in high pressure moments. I think about that penalty shootout against Grimsby, the amount of times Onana would get his hand to the ball and it would kind of flap in, or he'd just completely go the wrong way really, really early and would look stupid. I think about the one against Villarreal with David De Gea in net, where he just couldn't get near the ball, and we just seem to flap it every time in a penalty shootout scenario. Now, granted, in a season, you probably already have, 3-4 penalty shootouts max. But a lot of the times are important, and having a keeper, obviously penalties in a game are there as well, but I'm talking about high pressure situations. He's able to deliver in that. Now, will that change if he comes over to the Premier League? You don't know, do you, until he's actually in the league, but you can only go off the metrics that you've seen so far. When it comes to different kind of goalkeepers, they all have their individual kind of quirks. Your Edison's likes to put his foot on the ball, dictate kind of from the back. Donnarumma in 1v1 situations, spreads wide, really, really good. And they all have individual things that they're really, really good at, or they have like a different kind of technique and style. With Lammens, seems to keep his chest square, stays balanced until the very last moment, which can force strikers into mistakes. Spreads late, uses his legs effectively, which reminds you of the prime David De Gea. Again, this is something Carl Anka referred to in his piece for The Athletic. Please do go check that. But I love that kind of comparison, because you remember De Gea with his feet. It was almost like cricket stops, wasn't it? It's hard to explain the dynamic in which he would do, but he would get really close to him and then just kind of use it as like a stump blocker. I don't know what the actual reference is in cricket, but you all know what I'm talking about. In terms of commanding his area, this was the one thing that I really wanted from a keeper at the minute, because you look at where all our goals are coming from, set pieces, crosses, etc. It's something I wanted to know about him. So again, I asked someone who knows a lot more about tactics than I do, and has actually done a piece on him, Carl Anka. I asked him about his ability on crosses and commanding his area, and he said it's a little bit of a grey area, because although the metrics would back it up to say he is really, really good at that, the eye test doesn't when he's watched, kind of full matches for Royal Antwerp and stuff. I obviously haven't watched Antwerp week in, week out. I don't watch the Belgian Pro League, so I can only go off clips or fantastic articles like this and take my reference points from that. But from a statistical standpoint, I'll try to get that word right in a minute, statistical, he's stopped more crosses than any keeper in Belgium, 44. He's aggressive in aerial duels, which obviously relieves pressure on defenders, because his decision-making in that at times can be a little bit flaky, but he's young, so that will come with time. But again, we have to wait and see how that translates to the Premier League. And when you talk about the Premier League, what's one of the first things you think about straight away? Physicality. Does he have that stature and that frame? First and foremost, he's 6'4", so he's tall, got a commanding frame. When you have a presence like that, that naturally inspires the confidence in your defenders. Who were some of our best goalkeepers? Peter Schmeichel, Edwin van der Sar. Huge, towering figures in the Premier League. Donnarumma, Man City, just signed. I hate to keep referencing him. Big guy. Courtois, big guy. That's not to say that all great goalkeepers are massive. You have some small keepers who are really, really good. but the majority of them are big stature and frame that's intimidating, and Lammens is a big boy. And also, you will know nowadays there is a demand to be a more modern profile of a goalkeeper. And what does modern profile of a goalkeeper mean? Basically being more competent on the ball. For Lammens, 859 passes completed, 76.5% accuracy, which is top 5 among goalkeepers in Belgium. Comfortable going long or short. He has that sweeper keeper profile. And not also just that as well, he has the ability to spark quick counter-attacks. One thing I remember, for example, was Dean Henderson against Man City. Plays it to Luke Shaw. Like, goals can come from that. Do you remember that goal? Plays it to Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw drives up the pitch. I think there's like a 1-2 and then finishes it. Still had a lot of work to do. But just having that ability to be like, right, okay. Especially with a team like United, who could be very transitional at times. So, yeah, ball playing ability, not a problem. Now, one of the biggest things I look for if you're a goalkeeper at Manchester United or a new goalkeeper at Manchester United is mentality and personality. And from everything that I read about Lammens, he's calm, confident, vocal, relishes competition, has good composure, and for me, if he reflects what he does in the Belgian Pro League and the Premier League, it's going to be number 1 before you know it anyway, given the current form of Altay and Onana. Both of those boys have got a mistake in them. Both of those are really weak from corners and crosses. If he just does what he's been doing, he will be the number 1. I also had a look at some quotes from Belgium experts. Belgium experts? They're an expert of the country. From experts in Belgium who obviously watch him on a more regular basis. And the Belgian expert Bart Timson praised Lammens as who has an incredibly strong mentality, remains calm in all circumstances, comfortable with both his right and left foot. He's also noted for areas of improvement, particularly his accuracy and occasional minor mistakes that stem from relative inexperience. Sky Sports' Kevin Hatchard described him as very calm. The mentality is good, a rising star in Belgium for quite some time. The numbers of shots he's saving beyond what the expected goals would expect him to concede has been very, very high. But as always, if you're buying a goalkeeper who's 23 years old, there's going to be areas to improve. Obviously, he has no Premier League experience whatsoever. He doesn't know what it feels like to be in that strong, high-paced, high-demand league where everything's going at a million miles an hour. And I brushed on this thing before as well. With aerial decision-making, sometimes he can be a little bit too aggressive, claiming high balls and overdo it, leaving the goal exposed. Not yet at that top level when you compare him to someone like David Raya. And it goes without saying as well, obviously, Man United is a pressure cooker. Playing at Old Trafford, it's a massive, big step up. Handling that kind of scenario, the scrutiny, the media, the fan expectation will just take you to another level that he will not expect. Go and ask Altay, go and ask Onana, go and ask Dubravka. It's one of the most difficult positions in the world. So I hope he knows that. But also, I think we have to look at the big picture here, right? I don't think we've brought him in and we're looking at this man as like he's going to be the immediate fix. There is a view with a long-term project here with a huge upside. He's already an elite shot stopper. He's a great penalty saver. He's growing in confidence. He's modern distribution. Like he has all the assets to be a really, really top-level goalkeeper. But I keep coming back to this. You can go through all the data, all the quotes, anything you want, right? All the reference points. But sometimes when they get to Man United, things just crumble and change, and it's different. And that goes throughout the full team, by the way. Whether you're bringing in a striker, a midfielder, a defender, or a goalkeeper. It's tricky. It's difficult. But if he has that right mentality and composure, what I was talking about before, that's a good step. That's a good stepping stone to really advance forward at this club. And you don't have to do much. You just have to, as Roy Keane would say, you just have to do your job. So what I think you're going to see is, I think against Man City and Chelsea, you're probably going to see Altay, but maybe Onana as well. One of those two playing in those games, and maybe he'll introduce Lammens in a Sunderland game. Let me double check actually who we play. So Brentford or Sunderland, I would imagine, because bringing him in against City and Chelsea is a bit of a baptism of fire. So yeah, I reckon he'll probably be introduced there. He can't be a cup game really because we're out of the Carabao Cup, thanks to the goalkeepers. And then the FA Cup isn't until January. So I think we'll see him before that, and I think we'll see him in the league game. Maybe Old Trafford at home against Sunderland would be a good chance to bring him in. Let's wait and see. But But yeah, please do let us know your thoughts now that the transfer window has officially closed. What have you made of our window so far? And in regards to the goalkeeping position, would you have rather gone for someone like Emi Martinez? Are you happy with this long-term project in Senne Lammens? Or are you worried that he might not fit? It might just not work. Either way, it was going to be a risk. Whether you get Martinez, we know sometimes with his ability, there are question marks around certain things, mistakes. We saw it at Old Trafford last season, in the last game. He can be a little bit at times. But then likewise with Lammens, it's such an unknown quantity, such an unknown project. You don't know what you're going to get. So we just have to wait and see. My call is he's going to start in the game against Sunderland at Old Trafford. But let us know your thoughts on Senne Lammens, official to Man United, in the comments section. Thank you for watching. See you in a bit.